SK did it, so you know it got slapped.
What you know about doing hard time in the lockup? No appeal and your baby mama knocked up. You only win with a five and you gotta survive. You better have some hands to get knotted up. Seeing friends turn to foes, you can't trust nobody. Every day is a test and you gotta have heart. And you gotta be smart and you can't be a mark and a blank in your heart. Welcome to TubbsTV. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Tubbs. I'm back. As always, I want to thank all of y'all. Sincerely, I want to thank y'all for supporting the channel. I want to thank y'all for your comments. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, that's what it's about. It's a public forum, you know. I don't just post the videos for people to agree with me. Maybe some people do. I don't. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear what you got to say. Lately, I've been doing a series on should you date a man or woman while you in jail. And it just don't seem to be enough time, enough hours to talk about this subject. I get to talking about it, and YouTube only give you so much time to talk about it. They cut you off. So my videos, if they end abruptly, I'm sorry, but that's why. Because I could just talk about this subject all day long. So, should you date a man or a woman in prison? It's the topic, part 3. Well, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly on this. Okay, so the good part about it is that you meet somebody new. When you meet somebody new, it always opens up that opportunity for a good relationship. You know, that opportunity to meet somebody that you might click with. And it also gives you the opportunity to meet somebody that's not just about the sex. A lot of times, especially women, you know, if you are writing a guy that's been in prison or starting to date somebody in prison, most of y'all done got sick and tired of the games, you know. You're tired of dating these guys and it's going nowhere. So you figure, hey, I'm going to try something different. Maybe if I try a guy that's in prison, maybe the two of us might have some things in common. We can get a mental understanding instead of just a physical need fulfilled, and maybe the relationship will work itself out. I've known some situations where that is the case. A lot of women, they get in there and they meet these guys and they find out that they do have a lot of things in common. They want a lot of same things out in life. Hopefully he'll have himself together and he won't go back into whatever it is he was involved in. If he was into using drugs, selling drugs, or if he was into burglary or robbery or whatever it was that got him, you know, incarcerated. Hopefully he'll be through with that aspect of his life. And when he get out, he'll start new. So that's the good part. The bad part about it is, and women too, you know, there's guys that meet women because they got prison dating sites. And they'll meet a woman and she's looking good. And, you know, she in there, she exercises, she's pretty. And they'll meet these girls and she, you know, he's thinking, hey, these women I'm meeting out here, they ain't serious. They only want me for what I have, or the relationships ain't going in whatever direction he's wanting it to go into. So he's thinking, maybe if I get in touch with this girl, write her and talk to her and visit her, that relationship will work out. But if she ain't through doing whatever it was that she did, if she's a scammer and write checks, or if she's a prostitute, if she's a drug addict, and man, as fast as she get out, all the words gonna sound real good till they get out that door. And if you ain't changing your people, your places, and the things that you used to do, that's what they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you think you can get out and do exactly what you was doing that got you in there, well, you know, how that saying go? If you always do what you always did, you're going to always get what you always got. So I'll let you ponder on that. You know, Granddaddy Jack used to say that.
So anyway, back to part 3. Should you date a man or woman in prison? So I discussed some of the good things. I touched on the bad. The bad part about it is the person really gonna do what they say they gonna do? You know, you're taking a leap of faith. You're contacting them. You're talking with them. You know, but how many times have they done that? How many times have they gone to jail and they done wrote home and told mama, this is the last time, I'm not going to put myself through this, or they done wrote the baby's mama, I don't know what made me get back into using drugs or get back into crime. I should have never hung out with that guy. I should have listened to you. Or the girl, I know it was just my friends and I thought that they were my real friends, but you're the only one that's been there, and I'm changing my life over to God. You know, how much of it's real and how much of it's BS. You know, you just don't know. You don't know people, so you just gotta watch out and be aware of signs and symbols. You gotta be conscious of what's real. You can't be blinded by because she's attractive and you going to visit her and the business is going well. If she's a crackhead and she ain't taking no kind of programs and she's not trying to do anything to change the direction of her life, well, when she's not in there because she can't get to it. But when she get out, man, she gonna hit the streets and you gonna be looking for her half the time, man. She gonna be gone. And the same thing with the men. Once they hit the streets and whatever it is they was doing, if they haven't made up their own mind that they sick and tired of the nonsense, the BS, then they're going to get right back into that. So you got to pick up on them signs and them symbols. When they say something's real slick about, you know, doing it again, you got to pick up on that. What do you mean that was, you know, that's your partner? And when they get to talking about the stuff that they was doing and they get to laughing, boy, we was getting so high, man. Man, we was getting high every day. When they start talking like that, you know, when it's such a good time to them, that's your sign and your symbol right there. He ain't through. He ain't through. He ain't through. You ain't seen him perk up no other time like that. You ain't seen him perk up no other time when he was talking about going out and get a job. He ain't perked up when he said, man, when I get out of here, man, I'm going to get me 2 jobs, man. I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep from getting locked up. If all he said was, yeah, when I get out, get me a job and get myself together, change my life. But then when he talking about that dope, he like, boy, we was so high, man. I don't even know how I made it home. Which one is he more excited about? The drugs or changing the direction of his life? Use your brain. Use your brain. You know, pick up on those signs and those symbols. You know, I could tell you, you know, give you the same advice Granddaddy Jack would give you, you know. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Granddaddy Jack would say something like, if a motherfucker ain't good to you, replace him like you would a used dick rubber. That's the kind of shit he said, man. That's what he meant. So if you are content with, you know, holding on to one of those used rubbers, you type of person, you think that that's still good to keep around for whatever reason, then he ain't no better than that. So pick up on the signs and the symbols, you know. Pick up on the signs that, like we talked about before, man. And a woman in America, not one of y'all ain't been told if he on the down low. Ain't no getting out of prison and then you found out. Stop the line. You knew. You knew what he was in there. Somebody told you. Somebody told you and you knew. And you chose to ignore it. You chose to ignore that. You chose to ignore it. A family member he is told. Somebody in the visiting room told. If you going to visit a guy, that's nothing too. if you're going to visit a guy, sooner or later you're gonna meet the women that's visiting they man in there too. And they man, you know, they man gonna tell they woman. They gonna say, man, I don't even know why that guy why she visiting that dude. That dude ain't doing nothing but running around here chasing punks all day. I don't know why she visiting him, man. She seemed like a nice girl, man. That guy ain't gonna do nothing but give her AIDS, you know. And then her and your girl or his girl or that girl gonna get cool, and they gonna tell. They gonna tell them. And so they've been told. So I can't really. I'm sorry of the fact that they've been hurt, and now that they have to maybe start, you know, all over again, and that's a hurtful feeling right there, that they've already spent their time and their energy into this. But once somebody tells you something like that, you got to take heed to those type of things, because seriously, you know, in jail they don't have condiments, and that's why the AIDS rate is so high in there. And you can't come out unless somebody, you know, give you a disease which they have no cure for. And you can't, you know, put blinders on thinking that this person is going to change. If that's what these people are into, they're going to be into that on the streets. That's not going to just change just because they walked out the door, you know. So be careful when it comes to that. That's the bad thing, you know. And then you got the ugly. So we done talked about the good. We done talked about the bad. And now we need to talk about the ugly. The ugly is what type of individual you getting involved with. Whether it be a man or a woman. You know, is this a violent individual towards women? Do they have a tendency of whooping a bitch ass? You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it like that, but hey, man, you got some dudes out there, man, and shit, they into that. They into that. They get off on that, you know? They be in that prison, man, they be as meek as a sheep. They be meek as hell. But they get on the streets, man, and they'll beat that crap out of a woman, man. Maybe they do that because when they in there, they ain't standing on shit. Maybe they, you know, they irritated behind that. But ain't no man got no business really balling up his fists and punching on no woman and stuff, you know. And women, you ain't got no business letting no man do no shit like that to you. You know, okay, you might can't physically whoop him, but one thing you can do is you get the fuck away from him if he ever do it and don't go back. You know, you can do that. Now, a lot of times they say, well, she was with him because of the kids. Man, you know how many women got 6 kids and live by herself and make it on her own? So if you're going to sacrifice getting punched on, and if you punch it on you, you're probably going to punch on your daughter. If you punch it on you, you're going to punch on your son. It might kill you or her or them. You don't never know what's in the mind of a deranged individual, you know. Any woman that's involved with a man, 100% of y'all. 100% of y'all. He can tell you whatever it is that he want to tell you, including mine too. I could talk all the sweet stuff to her. I could tell her about why I was innocent and why I didn't belong to be there. But in my case, you know, those that watch my video, I was guilty. I'm not bragging on it, but I shot that police, and I was guilty for it, and he was guilty for what he did to me. So that's neither here nor there. So we both got to live with that, you know. He got his lick on me, and I got mine back on him. The only difference is they're going to charge me for getting my lick back, and they did charge me. But, you know, I had somebody looking out for me. He knew the truth. That's why I'm out here. I might be in a cell now, y'all, but if I want to, I can walk in that kitchen and open up that refrigerator and get me some of that cold chicken in there if I choose to. And unfortunately, a lot of men can't do that, you know, and, for whatever their reasons are. So anyway, we talk about the ugly. Sometimes, fellas, you get with these women and you think that you're going to get with them. They're going to be there, and at the moment, maybe their heart is, that's what they intend to do. But then you get out and you find out that she's very promiscuous every time she needed money. And she done did everything, you know, in the world to the neighbors and the guy down the street. And they got this one guy and he don't bathe and he's just disgusting. And she done did that with him too. And that's the ugly truth of it, you know. You don't know what's in the mind of another individual. You don't know. You could take the leap of faith, but it's not just because you are dating someone that's in prison. Whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, it's an individual. You can meet this guy and he's deacon of the church, you know. I like them deacons, you know. My brother was a deacon. Yeah. May he rest in peace. He passed away. My brother was a deacon. He was a womanizing deacon. Man, he ran through half the women in the church, man. You know, he held the Bible on one end. He went up under a dress on the other. So you got a lot of men that's out there that's like that, man. You know, I don't mean no offense, but a lot of y'all men, y'all preach one minute and you at the clubs the next. You can't worship two gods, man. You can't do it, you know. You got to choose which one, you know, you going to do. You know, people, ain't nothing wrong with going to the club, popping the finger 1 minute, and you get up on the next, you know, Sunday morning. You got a hangover because you done drunk too much. You're late coming in. I remember, the reason why I'm laughing, I remember one time, boy, he was running late for church. He get in there, he put on that new suit, man. He was looking real good. He looked down, man. He had on two different shoes, two different colored shoes. He had on a brown and a black shoe. Man. He said, "Hey, bro, is that like a new style? You try to bring crisscross back? Back in the day, they had this little group called Crisscross. That he used to wear two different color shoes. You know, they were little kids. You know." I ain't see nobody get up out the church, man, that quick. You think the church was on fire? You want nobody to see him with two different color shoes on, man. I love my brother, but boy, he was a character. So, he was a character. And you got a lot of women. And they used to call them Bible thumpers, you know. They always want to preach the word of the Lord. And that God said this, and, you know. And then all of a sudden they want to sleep with the married man. Or they want to do everything up under the sun, you know. So it's just a matter of individual. It ain't just because, you know, you dating somebody if they're in prison. You got some women out there. It's one lady, she give all kind of advice. I like her little channel and stuff. She give random, I wouldn't date a woman, I wouldn't date a man in prison. My answer is no, I would not do it. But then she talk about 100 different men that she met on the streets and how they dogged her out. So if all the men that was so good that was on the streets, then why is she her age and alone? Why does she have over 100 different stories to tell of how men used and abused her? Why does she have so many stories to tell how men took her out and all of a sudden I forgot my wallet and stuck her with the bill and all kind of things that they did. She found out, she thought she was in a deep relationship and found out that the man, they never take her around his family because he had a main woman that he was intending to marry. And so by the time she found out that he had this main woman, he had dumped her and married the other woman. So just because a guy or a girl is free, that don't make them no good person, you know. We've all had experiences with people that were that we were involved with before, you know, incarceration, or before you might have even thought about dating somebody that was incarcerated, excuse me. And that relationship didn't work out. Found out that she was a cheater, he was a cheater. Sometimes people cheat for different reasons. They just wanted to know what it would be like to be with somebody else. They was attracted to somebody else. Maybe that somebody else. I was dating a girl one time, and I was young, and I really didn't have any money. And I remember the guy pulled up and asked her, was I her boyfriend? And when he pulled up, he was a drug dealer, and he had all these diamonds in his teeth to show about how much money he had. And he had this really, really nice car. And so she ended up dumping me to be with him. And about 6 months later, she had a fat little belly full. And he dumped her. He dumped her. And she wanted to know if we could start over. And maybe I would be a better father to her son or daughter or whoever she was having. And, you know, I wasn't having none of that. So sometimes people do things for whatever reasons, you know. She thought the grass was greener on the other side of the fence, and she took that opportunity, you know. Sometimes it might work out. I don't know. Like I mentioned in a lot of videos, you know, I was always a number 2 type of guy, and I wouldn't even date women that didn't have a man. Because I had, every time I ran across a woman, you know, when we initially talked, she said, I got a man. But when she seen that I had them fancy cars, you know, them fancy trucks, and all of a sudden, you know, he didn't matter. You know, she got to catch him later. So that kind of turned me sour on my belief system with women. You know, I believe that, yeah, they yours until they his that night. And so that worked out for me because, like I mentioned in my other videos, you know, I wasn't obligated to her. And so I wasn't paying her bills. No, I don't think so. I ain't finna pay your bills. And you finna lay up with your man. I done paid the rent. I don't think so. Nah. Not gonna happen. Something happened in your car. That's his job. He a man. You know? So I avoided all those obligations. And the only thing that she was good for was sex. I guess the only thing I was good for to her was ride around in one of them pretty cars and get sex too. So it was just about a good time. But I never took any relationships, not really serious. You know, when I met my wife, I started reflecting on a lot of different things. And wow, what I wanted, how I was going to treat women, what's the difference. You got a lot of these men out there, man, that, like I mentioned in the, I think it was part 1 or part 2 of this series, should you date a man or a woman in prison? It's about that respect. Ladies, you have to demand your respect. I done seen videos where the man flat out told you, she said, ain't you going to get the door for me? He said, no, get it yourself. Now, if you disrespect yourself and grab that door handle after he said that and open it up and get inside, well, what did you expect? Now, this man had already right off the bat let you know that he is willing to disrespect you right off the bat. He's not even going to treat you like a woman. A lot of times, ladies, and y'all not going to want to hear this, it's the truth. Women say, I can dress any way I want to. You can. It's America. You got a right to. But I'm going to tell you from a man's point of view. If you dress like a whore, then most men gonna treat you, you know, I don't need to say the rest. Okay? What they perceive, perception is reality. If they perceive a woman that carries herself like a lady, they're going to perceive her like a lady, they're going to treat her like a lady, things are going to be different. But all of a sudden, you got your butt cheeks out and you're constantly pulling it down because it keeps popping back up and you're pulling it down. And he can't see nothing but cleavage. The whole time you talking, yeah. I'm into that too. You don't even know what you're talking about. So, understand that. Understand that, you know. If you dress like garbage, they're going to treat you like trash. So if you think that that's okay to dress like a whore, well then, 9 times out of 10, hey, you heard it from me first. You know, most of these men, they ain't gonna, man, what you telling them that for, man? You know, hey, you giving up the game. Man, the women ain't listening to me. As fast as it ain't even going in one ear to come out the other one, man. They can't put on, you know. I remember when I was young, half the stuff that these women down, they look like they in their pajamas. They look like they don't even look like they in their pajamas. They look like they in their underwear. They walk around like they in their underwear. And so I guess it's the underwear look, ladies. So now my wife, you know, she ain't gonna dress like that. Nah, she ain't finna disrespect herself like that. But that's neither here nor there, you know. When you get sick and tired of getting sick and tired, you know, you women, y'all gonna stop doing that kind of nonsense. But as far as like dating somebody in prison, like I said, I've done it before. I was incarcerated. My heart was into somebody, and I was into him wholeheartedly. I loved her with all my heart, and it don't matter how much you love somebody. And I believe in her own way. I want to believe in her own way that she loved me too. But she was messing with other men and stuff, and it just didn't work out. You know, I come home and I'm thinking I got me something special, boy. Somebody else done had something special too. They had the same thing special. And so that was very, very hurtful. That was the ugly part about the reality of it. And the thing of it was, I knew. I was told. I figured it out before I got out. Before I got out, I knew. You know. And I'm thinking, well, maybe things could work out. You know, people make mistakes. Maybe they could work out, and they didn't. They didn't work out. Part of it why I didn't. I was invested. You know, I was mentally invested, financially invested, you know, my money and everything else, and I felt like I was invested. Don't invest your time, your energy, and be willing to take a loss. If you open up a business tomorrow and it's not profitable to continue that business, you have to shut down. You have to take a loss. Same thing with a relationship. You know, I know it's harder. It's harder to do. I didn't have the fortitude, the strength to just end it when I found out. You know, I'm about to come home, and then you find this thing out, and you're thinking, wow, I really love her. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe I pushed her in that direction. So women thinking maybe it was her fault. But it ain't never your fault if somebody's shitting on you, and they know exactly what they're doing. An accident is something that happened by accident. We talking about a conscious choice. We talking about somebody that thought about what they were going to do, and they acted on it. So I'm not going to say people don't make mistakes. People are human, but they made a conscious choice to make the mistake or make the decision. They made a conscious choice to make the decision to shit on you or to shit on me. however you want to say it. So be aware of that, and be prepared for that. Make sure that if you're starting to feel like they're using you, you know, they just have to use you for some canteen or use you for items, and you feel like you obligated to do that. You didn't put them in jail. You didn't put them in jail. You didn't call the police up and say, listen, I want you to put this person in jail, and because I said so. Whatever they did, you ain't just stuck them in there. They got found guilty or they pled guilty, and they put themselves in there. You're not obligated to do nothing for them, even though you're in a relationship and you don't want to see them do bad. One thing, if a person don't want to do bad in jail, is simply just don't go. Just simply don't go. Don't break in them people's house. Don't put that pistol up to somebody and pull the trigger. Don't sell the drugs like me. Don't do the violence. Don't shoot the police, for God's sake. Man, they give you freaking forever for that shit. I was really blessed to even be free at all. Thank God for that, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, understand that. So now we done discussed the good, the bad, the ugly. Comment and let me know what you think. Let me know some of your experiences, whether they were good, whether they were bad, whether they were ugly. All right, so that's all. This is part 3 of the series, Should You Date Somebody in Jail? I'm going to do part 4. We'll keep the series going as long as you're interested in it. So as long as you're interested in it, comment about some of the things that you want to talk about and hear about. And so I'll try to, you know, comment back and do some videos about that. In the meantime, between time, thank you for taking the time out to listen. I'm going to cut the video short this time because YouTube has just cut me off because I've been talking too long. So that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Okay, peace.
Boys K did, so you know it got slapped.
What you know about doing hard time in the lockup? No appeal and your baby mama knocked up. You only win with a father, you gotta survive. You better have some hands and get knotted up. Seeing friends turn to foes, you can't trust nobody. Every day is a test and you gotta have heart. And you gotta be smart and you can't be a mark and a blame to your heart.
Welcome to TubbsTV.